Hello. How often am I going to do that is the question. Good day, everybody. My name is Nick, and today we're going to listen to some of your music, and let's do that. Boom. Here we are in FL Studio. Okay. Why do I have two Aiden Dodge tracks? That is something that I am wondering right now. Are they the same? They're not the same. Oh, one's a Swiss cheese. Okay. One of them is a Swiss cheese submission. All right, that's fine. Let's have a listen. So the first one we got up today with a ton of headroom, which is nice. Let's make sure I'm not mastering shit. Masters off. These are all off. Okay. Oh, ooh, good thing I checked. All right, let's have a listen. Aiden Dodge, I don't care. Swiss cheese drum and bass flip. This is like the most. This is the oddest combination of words I think I've ever read. Let's have a listen.
It's been a year now since the last time you and I ever spoke a word. I have moved on from the pain that I experienced, but now it once more hurts. I don't care to know where you've been and where you go. I don't want to know. I don't care. You can go anywhere and I won't give a fuck about your whereabouts. Gave you everything but you left me with a broken heart. Brought you into my life so you could tear it all apart.
So why is it just me, or is like the track really quiet underneath of the bass? So this is a cool groove. I think like your bass is really way too loud, and everything else is kind of just underneath the bass, big time. Yeah, like the bass is just way too loud. Learn FL Studio to do hardstyle. I mean, that's definitely not an impossibility. A lot of people make hardstyle on FL Studio, and I think if you are determined, you will succeed. And you're pretty heavy-handed on the reverb here too. Everything kind of feels drenched in reverb. Everything feels like the mix feels out of reach for me. Like it's too far back, and it's just really the bass that's kind of up front. Okay, what is going on here? It kind of sounds this. There's some cool elements here, but all in all, the remix part of it doesn't really strike me as a remix per se. It's almost just underneath it. And in this moment, music has left. What is the bass doing? What is the bass doing in this moment? It's kind of doing something that's not with the rest of the song. Like, okay, I get what it's doing now, but there's moments where the bass and just everything is just fighting each other in a not good way. I think I would, if I were you, I would take out the remix elements and try to get the drum and bass mix right, where you bring the bass down to a reasonable level. You have like the drums cut through harder. You get that under control, and then you try to maybe adapt it if you really wanted to remix this song. But overall, there's a few. I have some issues with this mix. Like, it's just kind of a big mess during some moments, like this right here. I can't really understand what's going on. So yeah, I'd be careful with the reverb. It's very reverbed out. The bass is way louder than everything else. Yeah. And then there's like some notes that aren't really working, and there is an impact mixed into there. It's just kind of, it sounds like you took all of the ingredients to make a cake and then you put them in a bowl, and then you put all of the ingredients that you need to make broccoli soup and you put them in the same bowl, and then you also made hamburgers, and before you cook them you put them in the same bowl. That's the best. And I'm not trying to shit on it overly harshly, but there's just a lot of stuff that just is not working in terms of working. Sorry, dude. I think normally your submissions are better than this one. This one just is not that good. I think there's too many issues. I would go back to the drawing board. Okay. I don't like giving shitty feedback like that, but that's all I got for you. All right, let's move on. Bass Freak. And I hope that's not discouraging. I mean, we all do. I made this in a day. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure you could get it closer, like in an hour, if you just made some key changes. But I think the strong parts are, I like the bass line, even though it's way too loud. And the drums sound good. They're just way in the background. So, like, getting the mix between the drums and the bass is pretty important. I would maybe focus on that before you try to, like, introduce a bunch of remix elements. Okay, let's move on. Next up, we got Bass Freak at the Speed of Light remix. Yes, Cody, I'll do that right now. Oopsies. There you go. That was a trip. So my first thought was that this section didn't go long enough, and I feel like I give this advice a lot. So right there, I feel like I'm 25% of the way through. And whereas I am actually 50% of the way through. And this is not a copy and paste suggestion. You're going to have to figure out a way of making it interesting enough to double that length. But to me, I feel like we just started galloping along on a robotic unicorn, and I just feel, and I don't get the references, by the way. You guys are talking. I thought I saw something about Geometry Dash. I don't know. But anyway, whatever the case is, this part is so good. And then it just gets ripped out from underneath of us, just like that, for this big musical interlude. And I just don't think it's time for that yet. I don't think we earned this breakdown. I think we got to go a little longer on the unicorn, Because if it went longer, then all of a sudden this breakdown would be like, oh, thank God I needed that out. The unicorn was running out of steam. We gotta pull over and give him a sugar cube or something. If it was like that, and then maybe you got to shorten something else to make the overall length a little bit different. What are your thoughts on I can't say that, verifying I can't say that? I don't know. It's not that I don't like the snare, but I think it's the reverb on it. It almost sounds like nothing else in the track has reverb, and then that snare has like the most obvious reverb in the world. There's something about the snare, specifically the reverb on it, that makes it not really fit in the mix for me. I don't know what it is. I'm not sure. I think it might be the reverb. I think it's the combination of that very pure fundamental where it's like, doo, like it's got like that very specific one frequency, almost like a sine wave. And then the reverb is just accentuating that into the stereo field. And it just almost feels like the snare is just standing by itself. But anyway. So then this section for me is a little awkward again, just because we're starting to build up momentum, and then the momentum kind of drags down. And whenever I listen to a track, I always kind of imagine this, like the energy level. And I know I copied and pasted there, but we come up, we hit this, we drop down, we kind of get up, and then we drop down again, then we go up, and I don't know. It's maybe a little, this right here is maybe a little chunky. It's maybe a little, it breaks up the flow of the track or the momentum a little too much. So maybe if there's a better way to, build this momentum up, maybe have a small little dip and then quickly build us back up and get to that higher energy state a little sooner. Once we got into this, I was in, I was ready to rock, but it was all the other sections surrounding those drops that just, I think, need a little more tweak in terms of flow, let the energy flow and all that stuff. Resubmit your track. I don't know. How about you just DM it to me? That sounds easier. All right. That's what I got to say. I think that the drop section is sick. I think that I'm going to turn off this before I forget. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of managing the flow of energy and managing the the flow, the way that the track builds and ebbs and flows, and yeah. Another Geometry Dash reference. All right. I'm assuming these are like levels in Geometry Dash. I don't know. But here we go. Let's listen to Cat Attack Bloodlust. So far, this is the slowest Geometry Dash level ever. All right, so this is sick. The bass, specifically the wide basses, that's why I went into the side channel of this EQ, right around 4,000, where is it, 4,000, 41, 4,200 hertz. Just scoop some of those. It's quite hard on the ears, the kind of the white noise harshness up there in that bass, that distorted bass. That frequency, I just go into that bass channel or whatever, you're sending those through and just scoop out some of that. Whoa, what else am I doing here? There's no way that's causing that much difference. Hello? Motherfucker. I had that pulled down. Okay, cool. I guess I had some compression in the top end. Whoopsies. Let's, I'm so bad for that. Anyway, yeah, I would probably pull down, I'd pull that down. Did I hear some Fowler fucked loops in there? Anyway, okay, so my next thought is that it's kind of missing like a melody. It's very driving. It sounds dope. It sounds good and it's heavy, but it's missing kind of a melody that I would almost expect to be here. That's funny. That's funny. That's the first time I've ever picked up on it, but anyway. Yeah, I think it's missing a melody. There's kind of no melody. It's all atmosphere and bass line. So it's just kind of devoid of any melodic information or hookiness. So in terms of like what you have here, it sounds great. The only real feedback I would have is to maybe tame those harsh frequencies down just a little bit, maybe a dB or two, 1 dB or 2. But then I just feel like you're gonna have to write some sort of melody. I don't know. The bass line isn't enough of a melody to me. The bass line is a bass line. Maybe that's the real melody. I don't know. I mean, like, I get it. I understand what you're saying. Like, yeah, okay, that's a melody, but it's being played in a way that it's the bass line. So you could base your bass? You could base your melody. You could base the melody on those kind of note structures there, but it just kind of has no melody, like especially when it drops out. That's all just cool atmosphere and cool beats and everything sounds good. I wouldn't necessarily change anything about that except just add some sort of little hook or something that gives it a bit more of an identity, because right now it's a cool driving cyberpunk beat, but like I just feel like you need to give it some sort of identity. I recognize some of, but I will say that you have cut up the Fowler fucked loops in a way that they are unrecognizable a lot. Doobie is your favorite. Doobie. Where's Doobie? I see Bloop. Where's Doobie? Oh. Yeah, anyway, you're doing a good job at using them creatively and not just straight up like plopping them in, Okay, cool. Those are my thoughts. All right, we got another Aiden Dodge remix. Oh wait, we already did this one. Wait, what? Oh, here we go. Okay, we got another Aiden Dodge remix. I Don't Care Ice Kayab remix still needs a lot of work. Okay, let's have a listen to what happened. Where can you find these loops? They're top secret loops.
It's been a year now since the last time you and I ever spoke a word. I had moved on from the pain that I experienced, but now it once more hurts. And I don't care to know where you've been and where you go. I don't want to know. I don't care. You can go anywhere, and I won't give a fuck about your whereabouts. Gave you everything, but you left me with the.
Yeah, these vocals, I don't know how or what you did, but these vocals sound way better than the original. Like the processing on them. I'm not sure if Aiden sent you his raw recording and you processed them, but whatever you did to the vocals, they sound so much better.
I don't care. You can go anywhere, and I won't give a fuck about your whereabouts. Gave you everything, but you left me with a broken heart. Brought you into my life so you could tear it all apart. Look at me now, you should've took me when you had the chance.
Okay, there's some weird timing stuff here. There's like a kick that, or it's like the side chaining, the pumping thing is slightly out of time. There's something that's not in time. There's two things that happen that sound like they're supposed to happen at the same time, but they're slightly offset like a flam. Like right there, if you listen specifically to this right here, it's like hada hada. I think what it is that they were using an LFO to make it go wow 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 wow, and I think the phase of the LFO, it's like a triangle wave that that goes up and then down, and it should be like almost like the peak of the triangle wave should be shifted over to where the downbeat is. It's really hard for me to explain that without. I just tried to open up MSI Afterburner. Whoopsies. MS Paint. What? Okay, so this is what it sounds like to me. Say this is our quarter notes. The LFO is going like this, or something like that, where it should be like this, where the maximum peaks are on the downbeats, not offset over. I don't know. That's kind of what it sounds like to me. There's something weird going on with the way it's pumping. Okay, there's just some general timing issues. Like if I try to figure out what tempo this is, which I'm not looking forward to, but okay, so there's a kick there. 78 beats per minute. Okay, so what's 78 times 2? That would be 156. Right? 156? So maybe it's 155. I bet you it's 155. I got the processed vocals. Yeah, okay, so now we can see. Now we can see that there's a few things. There's the kick drum pattern sounds like it has some heavy swing to it, where there's like certain kick drums that are like swung really hard. And you can see what I'm saying now if we look at, like, check this out. Oh, motherfucker. Don't you... Well, now I don't know how to get my snipping tool if I can't just type in snipping tool. What if I go like this? Where's snipping tool? Anybody know? Is it under, like, accessibility? Is accessibility even still a thing since Windows 98? Snip. There it is. Okay. Here. Oh, this is new. Okay. So if we do this and then we look here, this is exactly what I was talking about. So we have, stop giving me so many options. We have a downbeat here, a downbeat here, a downbeat here, a downbeat here, but you can see that the LFO, see how the LFO is shifted over? We would expect these to be on the downbeat one way or another, either it's got to get shifted one way or another, but that's what's thrown the timing off, is that the way the LFO is going, it's offset. You can see the shape of the LFO, and it's not lining up with the peak. And this is what we kind of nod our heads to, is every time that peak happens, right? But the peak is not lining up with the actual downbeat of the song, which is right here. So the LFO of that synth is out of phase with the song. It's not going with the song. It's going at the right tempo, but where the maximum the loud parts aren't lining up with where I want to nod my head, and that makes it kind of hard to get into because I'm like, do I nod my head with the LFO'd synth, which is the loudest thing in the track, or do I nod my head to the tempo of the song? I also think that the synth is too loud. It's drowning out everything else in the mix. And the vocals kind of drift off timing too. There's just some timing issues. I think that's the biggest thing right now is the timing. Let's go on.
Don't wanna know, I don't care. You can go anywhere and I won't give a fuck about your whereabouts. Gave you everything but you left me with a broken heart. Brought you into my life so you could tear it all apart. Look down and now you should've took it when you had the chance. You say you want me back, I don't motherfucking care.
Wow. Dude, I don't think he motherfucking cares. Yeah, I mean, during this build-up, the vocals get kind of totally lost. So just be careful when you're building stuff up. Sometimes you can really drown out the important elements like the vocals because you're just like building everything up. Everything's getting louder and brighter and busier and more complicated, and the vocals kind of get left behind. So I would just keep that in mind. But I think the big thing you should focus on is trying to get the timing things right. I read comments on YouTube. If you can see it on the screen, I will read it. That's actually where I read the comments, is just from the screen, like on my OBS. That's what I read the comments on. So there you go. All right, those are my thoughts. Thank you for sending. Let's move on. I am mid-exam block. I shouldn't be doing this shit. Okay, I don't know who this is or what they've done with their lives, but here we go.
Play it how you want, how you want. Play it how you want, how you want. High, high. Play it high,
You really narrowed in on the melodic content. And if you guys don't know, this is my latest release with Mike Bello called Take It Higher. And I like how you took the lead sound and you turned it into like an arpeggio almost. And that's really cool. There's a few sounds that it's very, it kind of covers up a lot of what's going on, whatever that swell thing is. Right there too. The bass is a bit loud, but yeah, I mean, like, this is a cool start. I like where this is going, and I don't think I really have a whole lot of feedback besides it's cool, and I enjoy it, and maybe you should focus on your exam block and then come back to this afterwards. I'm just saying, I'd feel awfully terrible if you failed your exam because you were focusing on remixing a Fowler track. But yeah, very cool. I enjoy where this is headed. That's pretty much what I got to say. All right, let's move on. Verbatim, cyber track without cyber name. Well, I don't know, because you named it Cybertrack without cyber name, and the word cyber is in the title twice. So I don't know. I don't know about that one. Let's have a listen. All right. Yeah, cool. We've heard this one before. It's sounding good. This is, again, I feel like if you're going to hit us with the then you better not stop doing the this soon, because I think you need to do this sort of thing. But anyway, besides that, I find that the kick drum is interacting with the bass in a not good way. It's like you've sidechained, but you haven't sidechained it long enough or something. There's like... Take It Higher is definitely not mid-tempo. It's quite fast. I can't even remember. It's maybe 130. I don't remember how fast it is right off the top of my head, but it's not mid-tempo. Yeah, you can kind of hear the bass and the kick kind of... like there's like a weird like... And the fact that it's inconsistent, tells me there's two things that might be happening. Side chaining issue, so that sometimes the bass is in phase and sometimes the bass is out of phase, and they're adding together, and every once in a while we'll get a loud kick drum and every once in a while we'll get a quiet kick drum because of the phase inconsistencies, or there's some compression stuff happening maybe in your master bus that's causing the master limiter to duck during certain kick drums more than others. If we listen to this right here, this one, listen to the difference between this kick and this kick. I made this shape as a kick waveform. I maybe know what you mean. But if you listen to these two kicks, this one... It's maybe a little subtle, but this one is quieter, and then this one is more pokey. But I think the biggest issue that I have is just that it's the kick drum is... It sounds to me like it's interacting with your bass. One thing you could do is render out your kick stem, render out your sidechained bass stem. I layered kick with snare and made it a bit quieter when the snare hits. Oh, I don't think you should do that. I think the kick is kind of the That is the anchor, the backbone. That should not change. The kick drum should hit as hard. And this is obviously a rule of thumb, and maybe there's certain situations where this wouldn't be true. But I think that the kick drum should always be kind of the king, and everything else kind of bows down to it, if you know what I mean. But anyway, yeah, I think an interesting experiment for you to do would be render out your kick drum stem like a section, maybe just like a measure or 4/4 notes or something. Render out a section of your song, render out just the kick drum, then render out your side chained bass, and then look at them on top of each other or right next to each other, and see as the tail of the kick drum tails out. Tails out? Is that a thing that people say? Oh, I hate when that crashes. Hold on. Microsoft MS Paint. Where are you? It's just called Paint. Paint 3D. Okay, whatever. So render out your kick drum. So it's going to look like this, right? And then kick drum. So render this out. And then render out your bass. Oh my God. What the Is this a skill I can put on my resume? As if I've made a resume in the past 2 decades. Okay, so what you're looking for is how much of this. Oh, check this out. I'm going to go over to the this tool, and so how much? Fuck. Let's just make this a bit smaller. How much of this tail is interacting with how much of this, So it's not necessarily that the tail has to be completely gone by the time that this comes up, but there's a certain kind of acceptable factor of how much phase interaction can you have between what the fuck is this brush, by the way? It says oil paint. Do they drop a bunch of sand in their oil? Anyway, I digress. I would definitely, being mediocre. Wow, thanks. That's a glowing review. I would be interested to look at that just to see, because I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like your kick drum and your bass are interacting with each other in a non-good way. Wait a second, is this the song that I suggested you change the key? Okay, so again, I kind of have the same feedback on this where the flow of energy, it's just kind of like we get 3 breakdown sections, and I don't know. I'm not saying don't do it, but I am saying that we just had a breakdown. We released a lot of our energy. We were getting amped up. We were ready to rock and roll. We rock and rolled for a short period of time, and now we're getting a break again. I don't know that that's the best method. but I really do like this section. I'm not saying that's the move necessarily, but I don't know. It's just I always feel weird when you've built up my anticipation, you've amped me up, you've gotten me excited to rock out, and then we only rock out for we went from 219 to 20 seconds. I don't know. I feel like that's maybe not enough rock out for the amount. I mean, there is more. You built us up. So if you'll pardon my vulgarity, you have given us 50. You've given us 30 seconds of foreplay and 20 seconds of sex. And that sounds sad no matter which way you put it, but you get my point. There's more build up than there is the thing you were building up to. So I don't know. That's maybe just something to keep in mind. I'm not saying you need to get rid of this because like you can break down, you could get rid of the drums for a second or two. Just, I don't know. Maybe just not a full breakdown. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. But anyway, it's sounding, every time you send it, it sounds much, much better. So you're definitely going in the right direction. And that's the whole point, is for you to learn and improve your skills. And you're doing that. So good job. I hope all the random shit that I just made come out of my mouth made sense to you. All right, let's have a listen to Velcode. 128 sounds like budget Skrillex. Oh, I love that description. Let's have a listen.
I don't know which way is right. Love me when it's hard. I promise that I'm not leaving from your side. And when I fall apart, promise in the dark, you'll be
That pride snare at the end. This is actually sick, man.
I don't know which way is right. Promise in the dark.
Honestly, dude, I think my... Oh. Well, that's weird. I'm back, though. I think my feedback is just to keep going. This is sick. I don't really have any... Yeah, it's dope. Keep going. That's my feedback. Cool. Easy. All right, track 9. What did you rip this off a fucking CD using Windows Media Player? Here we go. Okay. Wow. I feel oddly patriotic to a country that I don't even understand. Like, what? This sounds like it could actually be, this sounds like it could actually be a national anthem for something. The da da dun dun da. I don't think it's a bit long. I like. What are you comparing it a bit long for a national anthem? Yeah, I mean, I'm talking specifically about like right here. This is the national anthem for a country that is yet to be named. Damn, this is great. This is the Cry Test dude again. Man, he always sends in these fucking orchestral bangers. Now add an amen break to it. I don't like I love that he sends them in. I don't know how to provide feedback on this music. It's way over my head, like in a musical sense, and it's like I don't know. It sounds great. If anything, it might be a little cluttered, but I don't know because it's supposed to be like an orchestra, which is kind of cluttered. And like I want him to keep sending these in because I enjoy them every time. But I don't know what to say because it sounds great. If anything, maybe chill out on these high mids a little bit and then give it a bit more top end, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to mix or master this style of music. This is like beyond me, but it's dope. And that's what I have to say. All in all, I have never felt more patriotic in my life. Cool. Let's move on. Oh my God. Look at this sausage. Let's make sure I haven't ruined the entire day for everybody. By leaving some of these things on, because I've definitely done that before. All right, let's listen to Tesseract's Interrupt. That's a cool name. Here we go. Dude, and don't take this the wrong way, but that kind of sounds like after you ate something that didn't agree with you and your stomach's making noises. A quick aside before we get into it, I'm really excited for whatever this sound is. Okay, that the bass sound design sounds like something that you had to plot in Excel. Like that sounds like oddly it sounds like a spreadsheet to me, and I mean that in the best possible way. So, well, okay, I have a couple thoughts. During this first section, your main neuro bass, it's a bit harsh in like yeah, it's a bit harsh up there. Like I know it kind of has to be because that's the sound, but I feel like the track like that really sticks out in the mix is this kind of frequency. So that's my first thought. It's just that it's a bit too Terry, like it's a bit too much like that. And then the next thing, this part is sick, but there's like this little piano, like 28 Days Later theme song kind of sound and melody happening. And I think this dish would be better served dry. I think to really emphasize that thing, get rid of everything underneath it. Just fucking have it so that when there's just no atmosphere underneath it, so that you're really like driving that, and you could bring that atmosphere in halfway through as a bit of a pickup and a riser, but like that would be so, it's already impactful. But it would be even more impactful if it was like da ga da ga ga da ga ga ga, and that's all there was. So I have the same feedback for this section too. There's like that kind of like hip hop, that kind of like that like droney, almost sounds like Cypress Hill, or I don't know what it is, but you know what I mean. And it to me doesn't sound like the element that you drop with. That to me sounds like almost like a riser effect that comes in halfway through to start like letting us know that shit's gonna happen. Yeah, that whatever that is. I don't know. I just think it would drop harder if all of those background kind of atmosphere those things, they were pulled out during the initial drop and then brought in to pick it up.
Interrupt till I pre-program and then
But yeah, very sick tune as always. That was really heavy, and I want to kick a wall. I want to kick a wall now. So good job with that. That's funny, Will. Why don't you go design some more fucking 3D objects, you little bitch? Just joking. Kappa designed something that was better than something that I designed, and I'm sour about it. All right, so next up we got Rage Stone and Tondare. I don't know how to say that. Tondare? Tondare. I'm going to call it Tondare. Tondare. No More Dream pre-final. A pre-final. Dude, I'm going to start putting pre-final on everything when I'm working on it. This is a pre-final. Here we go. Let's listen.
Better late than never, even if I know that nothing lasts forever, so I catch every moment. I know I found the only one. I'll never dream anymore.
Okay, this is sick, but like imagine if you doubled that guitar and hard panned hard left and right, because the guitar sounds dope, the vocals sound dope, but they're both dead center in the mix, so they fight with each other spatially.
Every moment I know I found the only one. I'll never dream anymore. So I know my dream, so I know my dream about you, baby. So I never sleep, so I never sleep without you. So I know my dream, so I know my dream about you, baby. So I never sleep, so I never sleep without you.
Verbatim, it's called split mixer track when you go to render.
Yeah, I don't wanna wake up if you were lying right by my side. It's like an open night dream. Wake me up if you were lying right by my side. Better late than never, even if I know that nothing lasts.
Not if you select the certain ones that you want and solo them, and then you split the mixer tracks, then it won't. Or just render them all and then delete the ones you don't want.
Nothing lasts forever, so I catch every moment. I know I found the only one. I'll never dream anymore. So I know my dream, so I know my dream about you, baby. So I never sleep, so I never sleep without you. So I know my dream, so I know my dream about you, baby. So I never sleep, so I never sleep without you. So I know my dream, so I know my dream about you.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop this here for a sec. It's really good. I really like I like everything about it. I feel like there's a few changes you could make that would make it much better. The first is, like I said, the guitar. I don't think you should artificially stereoize it or anything, but the fact that the guitar is dead mono and the vocals are dead mono, or at least very much in the center, they're competing with each other. Okay, so we dealt with that. Then the vocals just kind of get lost in the mix. Hi, Suburn. I don't know. My screen is not high resolution enough for me to know what your name is, but hello. So the vocals kind of get lost in the mix. They're not far off. They don't need to be, doubled in volume, but I think they could be a little bit louder. And then when the drums come in, instead of having the track bleed right into the drums, imagine if you did this. And I'm going to try to do this just like this, and maybe it doesn't work, but maybe it does work, and you're like, ooh, that's cool. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you think it's dumb. Who knows? We're going to find out. This is my very crude method. Okay, so I missed the transient on the kick, which made it not sound good when it landed. But like the track kind of almost bleeds together a little bit too much. So boom, and let's try this. Is that the actual transient? Like what I'm trying to do is add a little bit of separation between this, which you could think of as the build-up, and this, which you could think about as the drop or the chorus or the this is us journeying to something, and this is the arrival. We have arrived to the drum beat, right? And it just kind of happens a little inconsequently. And I don't even know if that's the right use of that word, but it just is like, oh, hey guys, now we got drums, you know, as opposed to like, and beat, you know, like, oh, there it is. Finally, we're there. I think that even a subtle riser, like, let's figure out what tempo this is real quick. Rage Stone, if you're in the chat, please just tell me what the tempo is. Fuck's sakes. Never mind, it's 120. Okay, so let me just do like a 3-minute let's do a 3-minute build. We're not going to build for 3 minutes, but I'm going to build a build in 3 minutes. That was a weird series of words. Like, you could even have a little hragakung. And like, this is really all, it just needs something like this, a little swell. We could we could have let's do this too. What key is it in? Who fucking knows? The way you send in is down. If you look at the bottom of the screen, it says the Discord. You got to go to the Discord server. That's where all the tracks get submitted. What a terrible sounding symbol that was. What am I looking for? Oh yeah, effects. So let's go effects and let's go down and just grab like rising, and that's pretty long. Whatever. We'll just use a little bit of it. Let's use this bit of it so that when that already sounds better to me, but I'm not done. Let's get just some stupid little fill, like a karakum, karakum. We could make that, but I'm just gonna go to fills and just grab. Sure, let's grab this one. Don't know what it sounds like. Who cares? Hold on, I want to add a symbol on the down too, and then we'll probably be good. Sure. All right, let's see what this sounds like now. Okay, I turned that drum fill down way too much. See, and now I'm grooving harder because it was more of a build-up and more of a like a satisfying, like, yes, we got there, we did this thing, you know, as opposed to just, oh, okay, here's some drums, you know, like it's almost like it was amping me up a little bit, and then when it finally hit, I'm like, yeah, you know, let's even do one of these. I know it's not really like an EDM track, but you can still dip into like the EDM tool bag and kind of dabble with it a little. you get my idea. I'm not going to continue to develop this because that's your job. But I think having a drop that is more impactful by preparing us in a certain way. I didn't do anything to the drop I didn't do anything to the drop except for add this crash. You know, all I did, and the drop is now more impactful, even though all I did was add a crash here, but it's because of the preparation. And Kappa, I'll dabble in your tool bag. It has a lot more expensive tools than mine does. Okay, cool. Okay, let's keep going. And now you see the vocals are kind of da 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 da. They're very clap, clap, clap. They're almost like asking for a clap on the downbeats. They're asking for the cheeks to get clapped. So yeah, those are my thoughts. I think the vocals sound great. I think everything's nice and chill, and it's like a warm pillow. It's like a warm pillow. But if you could just make if you could make the sections a little more defined by building us up a bit more, giving us almost like a little break right in here, just so that when it comes back in, it's more impactful. I think that's going to go a long way. Cool. All right. Great track, though. Sounds sick. I hope that helps. Okay, where are we? Right here. All right. The next up, we got Putulik Scars with a Z. That's cool. Okay, so you can tell that this element that comes in, it kind of sounds like a guitar, but I don't think it is a real guitar. But whatever it is, you can tell just by the waveform when it comes in that it's too loud. I mean, like all of a sudden your track gets louder. The whole track gets louder when this one element comes in, and I don't think that's the way to do it. I think you got to bring that down and control the levels a little bit better. I like the sound of the clap, but it's kind of buried. It's almost like it's almost like your synth to drum ratio is a bit off. Like the synths are louder than the drums, and the synths are kind of driving the track, whereas the drums should kind of drive the track, and the synth should be existing between the kicks. I don't know. I think your synths, especially this guitar sounding thing, is too loud when it comes in. And also that piano, I'm a little torn because it sounds like it's not a very good sounding piano, but that doesn't mean it's bad. It just kind of sounds like a 90s dance music piano, right? And if you're throwing back to that style, or you're referring back to those kind of retro synth piano sounds like the M1 and stuff like that, that's one thing. But I don't know. I don't know if it really fits in this track, in my opinion. If that kind of 90s throwback, cheesy, but like self aware cheesy, I don't know if that fits the style of this track. Oh, it is a real guitar. Oh, that's cool. So I find this solo that comes in, the synth solo thing, it's kind of it's a bit out of pocket. Like first of all, we haven't heard it until this point in the song, a minute and a half in. That's not necessarily a problem, but it's kind of it sounds a little like you clicked in some notes that were in the right key and there's no wrong notes, but I'm struggling to find a theme or something, like there's no reoccurring theme or note, little interval thing. Like dun 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 dun. That could be a theme, but then there's that extra little note in that kind of throws that off. It just feels very like MIDI roll. Like I can kind of just picture these notes, like click one there, click, okay, there's one, put one there. Like it sounds like that. It sounds a little too robotic. There's some good little moments in there. Dun 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 dun. Da 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 da. Like there's no call and response. It's just kind of chugging along, playing notes in the right key. But it just doesn't feel cohesive to me. Like there's no message in it. It's just a bunch of notes, seemingly a little bit random, but they're at least they're in the scale, so they don't sound wrong. But there's no call and response, and like Kadia said, very pop ghost the world. That's funny, yeah. But like Kadia said, it's a phrasing thing. Like there kind of is no phrasing. It's just chugging along, playing notes in the key. And that's not really what makes a good melody. A good melody should have almost like a conversation, a call and response, posing a question, answering the question, that's kind of goes beyond the scope of what I can kind of give you advice on, besides just to point it out and say, hey, this melody is not really melody. It's kind of a bit random to be considered a melody. It's more of like an intermittent arpeggio, you could say. And also the fact that like you go to like a breakbeat style, and then we drop down to this. I guess the whole track is maybe suffering from the same thing as what that melody is suffering from, where you don't want your track to be totally predictable, but at the same time, this track is kind of like, it feels like an exploration into what you can do with these notes. Like it doesn't sound like you're building up and you're going back to something familiar with a slight variation, or you've developed something and it's getting more developed. It just kind of sounds like you're playing around and experimenting. And any one of these, if you just listen to one of these sections, they stand alone, they sound good by themselves, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't know, it might be a little too pop goes the world, like Cody said, like a bit too all over the place. Oh, sorry, deleted it. Like that guitar thing is sick, right? Why not? Okay, I think what you might have to do is determine what are the main sounds, what are the main characters in this song. And then once you decide, oh, that guitar thing that my friend recorded, that thing is sick. Maybe that's one of the main characters. Okay, now in this build, I'm gonna tease it a little. I'm gonna tease it in a little bit. Maybe it's filtered. Maybe it's reverbed out. Maybe I'm only playing part of the phrase. I'm teasing it. I'm building you up. I'm letting you know, hey, this guitar thing's gonna come back, but I'm not giving it to you just yet. And then give us the guitar thing. It's just the track just kind of does stuff in the right key, and I think that is my main gripe with it, is that it's not it's not focused enough. It's not like, hey, this is the main element of this song. Maybe there's a couple main elements. There's the vocals, of course, there's the guitar thing, there's there's like the dirty bass or whatever. It's almost just, I don't know. I feel like my advice for this song is following the same path that the song is, where I'm just kind of giving you general advice on how it is, but it's not structured in a start, middle, finish kind of situation. I don't know. I hope this kind of stream of consciousness bullshit makes sense to you and adds some value. But I would say the track, all the sections sound fairly good. Technically speaking, the bigger problem is, how do you create a story from start to end instead of just a bunch of pages with words on them? So that's my advice. And yeah, I mean, I like a lot of stuff about it, but it doesn't feel like a cohesive package or a cohesive story to me. All right, thank you for sending. Let's move on. We got Nemkai school assignment for Monday. I feel like I'm always helping Nemkai with his homework. Okay, so very cool so far. Love chiptune stuff. Your build-up is larger than your drop. And I think it's just the kick drum. I think it's the kick drum. Yeah, it looks like the kick drums. Then there's certain sections like here, like this drum fill. It's very loud compared to the drop. So maybe go in and figure out how to reduce the dynamics. Even when I'm squashing the dynamics with the master, it's still, you can feel it come through. It almost sounds like there's like two kicks on top of each other or something. But anyway, another thing I want to say before we go any further is the chromatic. I don't like that at all. Like, I don't like it at all. It makes me feel like there's a clown chasing me or something. So I'd probably bring your kick drum down here or bring your bass up. The bass, like what I'm solving by doing this, besides just making it overall louder, is I'm reducing the volume of your kick drum so that the bass drum feels more in line with that. So like I think you could probably do that before it hits the master, and then the master wouldn't have to do as much work. So I think the ratio of your kick to bass, and I'm talking specifically about your like the character bass, the distorted sounding one, it's a bit off. Like the bass is a bit low. I really want that major third. Like you're nearing it. I really want that note. I really want the F sharp at some point. Like there's a part in there where I just want that F sharp. Anyway, let's go. Again with this build up, like your kick drum and your build up's too loud. It's the loudest thing in the track is the build up. And then, so, okay, I think this is the overall problem is that just some of your elements are like way too loud. Like this one little random percussion sample. Look at how much louder it is than your kick drum. You know what I mean? That little... Yeah, I like when this like dirtier bass comes in. It's cool. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I think, and maybe you don't realize that some of these elements are like too loud. Sorry, but when you render it out as a waveform, it becomes pretty obvious, you know, that like that drum fill is just, whoa, it's massively louder than the kick drum. And really the kick drum should pretty much be the biggest, peakiest thing in the track. So the fact that your builds are louder than the drop, that's an issue. So you can kind of figure out a lot by just rendering out your track and looking at the waveform and specifically rendering it out before any sort of master or whatever. So yeah, if you fix kind of some of those level issues and then send her into some mastering to bring the overall volume up, I think the track will sound much better, and get rid of the clown chromatic build thing. I just sounds like that's just all I can hear when I hear that. Anyway, cool. Thanks for sending. Let's move on. We got what do we got? We got Live Tet. Gao. I don't know how to say that. I hope I didn't do it wrong. Okay, this is sick. I want to say this before we keep going because I might forget. What if when the violins come in or cello or whatever that is comes in, what if you took out the detuney kind of guitar thing and then bring it back in halfway through when the cello goes away? Because they kind of feel like they're maybe competing, but I don't know. It might be okay, but try taking them out from here to here. So basically, this section, take out the boonging, boonging, the detune thing that you started with, and just let the cello string thing shine. And then when the cello string thing is done saying its piece, the ba-ding thing comes back. So another thing is there's three main things here. Well, besides like the beats and the neuros and all that stuff, you've got the cello, you've got the detuned guitar thing, and then you've got this like really resonant thing. And I like them all, but I find that just some moments in the track, they're all kind of adding up and they get kind of a bit like, whoa. That thing right there. I just find that when that and the cello and the guitar are playing, it's a bit much. And in fact, that sound that's happening, the real resonant thing, maybe just lower the fundamental of it just a little bit. Oh, I'm on the side channel. Yeah, it's just slightly too peaky. It just pokes a little bit too much. I like it, but it just gets a little too resonant-y in that area. I would also say that you might need to change up something more about this drop when it drops. Like add a bit more variety, whether it's like a new percussive thing or it doesn't have to be drastic, and it shouldn't be drastically different, but I feel like it might not be copy and paste, but it might as well be copy and paste from the first drop. Okay, so you've added the resonant thing. So there is some variety, but I don't think the variety is obvious enough to feel like, oh, okay, this is the second drop, or like we've come somewhere, we've gone somewhere. We've traveled a distance since the first drop, right? So I feel like even just like, it could just be like a ride cymbal, or it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but there just needs to be something that's a bit more like feels like a development when the second drop hits. Right here is where I'm starting to feel like I'm being overwhelmed with elements. Excuse me. Like, it's just, I just kind of feel like I'm being overwhelmed with strings and that resonant thing. I feel like you might have to cherry pick a few elements and let them shine during certain parts like that. But besides that, this is really good. Like, it sounds really good. I think it just needs a couple little tweaks for me to be more happy with it. But if you love it and you think it's great as is, then feel free to tell me to go fuck myself. Thank you for sending. Really, really cool track. I hope that helps. If you put in the end vocals over it, it goes kind of hard. All right, there you go. Maybe it's a remix waiting to happen. All right, we got Foison. Imagine a Slinky montage over this, and that's what I submitted to my high school digital production class November 10. Dude, this is like the most evil Slinky I think I've ever heard. I also really like this horn thing. It reminds me of something that would be on like Lord of the Rings. Like, it's like it doesn't quite sound like a horn, just a straight up horn. It kind of sounds like it's been processed, or maybe it's not even a horn to begin with, but it just kind of sounds like a horn. Okay, I'm not a big fan of that chord change though. I have no idea how this is a Slinky montage, but I'm glad that it is. I really like this. That sounds dope. I don't know, man. This is a cool Slinky soundtrack. Thank you for making the soundtrack to the Slinky. I don't really have any. I think maybe the drums could be brighter, but I'm not sure if this is the trailer to a Slinky montage. So they're releasing a Slinky montage as a full feature film in the theaters. Therefore, they need a trailer, and this is the music for the trailer. Gotcha. God, I feel like I'm about to die. Anyway, all right, let's move on to the last one. Aiden Dodge, best for you. I recorded the vocals in my closet. All right. Dude, the autotune on this makes it sound like the portal girl kind of.
Thought that we had something special, but then you went and broke my heart.
Yeah, so it's kind of suffering from the same, like the vocals suffer from the same processing as the other track, but whatever Ice Kayab did to your vocals, in his remix, that sounds good. Like your vocals sound good on that. So I would try to figure out what it is. It's really, they're like too thin. Like you've pulled too much of the bottom end out of the vocals. But let's keep going.
You left me feeling so unsettled. Now the world's apart. Tried to give you everything, but you still chose another guy. And now it's time to spread my wings and finally say goodbye. And I just want what's best for you, girl. You got 99% of my love, and I will give the rest to you, girl. Find my way, I'll start anew. I'll be the one who sees it through. All my strength, my hope, my truth. Now the rest is for me too.
So if you look over here, this is like a lot of your vocals are this hump.
I know that it is time.
My tinnitus doesn't like this. What, me sweeping the frequencies? Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so figure out why these not this one, this one? Yeah, figure out what this,
It's been a year now.
figure out why these vocals, what it is about them that's lacking out of the. What's up, Adrift? Welcome to the last song of the feedback stream. Yeah, I would say in terms of the vocals, it's a matter of being too thin. I don't know about the pitch isn't a problem. They're being fucking auto-tuned. The pitch is not an issue. The performance doesn't sound like an issue. The issue to me is the fact that they reside in the 4,000 hertz and up frequency range. Mostly, there's no bottom end to them.
I know that it is time to move on and leave the past behind.
Also, you have your kick, your snare, and your hi-hat are all kind of dead set down the middle on top of your vocals. So maybe finding a hi-hat that has a bit of width to push it away from your vocals a little bit would probably open up more space for your vocals to cut through. I find that the of the hi-hat is sitting right on your vocals, and it's complicated and busy, and there's a lot of and it's breaking up my vision of your vocals. If you would imagine me like visually seeing the mix, I'm seeing you, but I'm seeing like a bright light flash in front of you every 16th note, or no, every 8th note, sorry.
One is truly mine. The guy, and now it's time to spread my wings and finally say
Do you think it's a problem that they're auto-tuning? It sounds like a style choice to me. I don't know. I don't mind it. I think it's kind of like a style choice. It's like it's not necessarily that you can't sing and you're using auto-tune. Like, fuck that. That's not what auto-tune is really for, right? Auto-tune is for auto-tuned vocals. So I don't think it's a problem. I think the problem is that there's no bottom end and that they exist in the 4,000 and above frequency range. I think you got to figure out a new chain. I don't think it's the recording necessarily, because that remix that Ice Kayab did of your track, the vocals, they didn't sound like $1 million, but they sounded like $1,000, and that's a lot more than what these ones sound like, because these ones just have no substance to them. They're just all tinniness, as much as I hate to use that word.
truly mine.
But yeah, I mean, like, the the bones are there. You just got to figure out how to attach the meat. And that sounds like a saying. I don't even really know what it means, but I did say it. So I guess it's kind of a saying because I said it. When you think about it, you could say anything, and if you said it, it's a saying. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I like this track. I like this. Oopsies. I like this direction. I like how it's different but still sounds like you. But the biggest thing is just like you gotta run stuff as if you're mixing and recording vocals. Yeah, you just gotta keep going, and eventually you'll be like, oh, I shouldn't high pass my vocals at 3,000 RPM. Oh god, cars. Anyway, I shouldn't high pass. Like there's something. Eventually, you're gonna keep watching tutorials. You're gonna keep watching interviews with mixing engineers. You're gonna keep looking up forum shit, and most of that information is garbage. But some of it's decent, and you're gonna try a bunch of it, and you're maybe gonna listen to some of the shit I say, and eventually something's gonna click, and you're gonna be like, oh, that's what I need to do or not do, or both, right? So just keep going. And that's pretty much what I got. That's what I got for you on this one. Thank you for sending. This is a view of just me. I have turned off FL Studio from the stream now. High pass at 3,200 RPM. No, man, that's my launch limiter. I tried to set a launch limiter on my friend's automatic Talon to like 1,500 RPM to see. Oh, I can't remember what we were trying to do. Oh, it's because we were trying to do anti-lag because his torque converter wouldn't let him get above like 3,000 RPM when he wasn't moving, so he couldn't build any boost. So I was trying to add in like anti-lag that low, and it was just like bang, 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 bang. Like it just did not work very well. Anyway, that is besides the point and not related to music at all. Thank you guys for hanging out. I love you all. I hope you all have a good weekend, and I hope to see you next week, Friday, same time, same place. It's hard for me to balance the high pass on the vocals. That sounds like an issue and not an ish me. Just joking. That was harsh. You just got to put the time in, man. Just keep trying, and eventually you'll figure it out. It's just that easy. Eventually you'll be like, wow, I've put in 500 hours into trying to figure out this vocal thing, and then 501 hours goes by, and you're like, I get it now. I understand. But yeah. Okay, I think that's it. I love you, and have a good weekend. Bye.